What's going on, gamers? Today I got an interesting idea for you. So I wanted to do a video. I don't know anything about 40K, as you know, but I went through and I got the Wikipedia article for pretty much every single Primarch on this list. So I want to go through, read their lore briefly, and rate them based on how good or evil I think they are. Even the good Primarchs are still kind of like really bad people. So I thought it'd be fun just to go through and rank all of them. So we're starting off with, I feel like, a fairly easy one. This guy looks pretty evil. I'm not a 40K nerd. I know a lot about Warhammer Fantasy. Horn's not a good guy, so that sounds a little bad, but we'll read a little bit of his lore. Maybe there's some nuance here, a little bit of tragedy going on. He was the most bloody-handed savage of the Primarchs. Okay, yeah, off to a great start. Really feeling the tragedy here. When Horus began his rebellion against the Emperor, Angron was quick to join in his treachery because of the long-lasting grudge. He's like the carry in like a MOBA, who like whenever he's like 5 or like his support or whatever, just like isn't doing their job. Like the millisecond someone throws, he's just like, alright, game's over, AFK. Like he's just ready, he's ready to throw the game. He fell to chaos during the Horus heresy and was transformed into a demon prince. I think, alright, you know what, I think we probably don't have to go very far. I created a tier list specifically for this. We could probably just put this guy in, it's a freaking demon. What the frick are you on about? Alright, next dude. Okay, based off the image and the fact that this guy goes by the Lion, it reminds me of Alistar from Warhammer Fantasy, the White Lion, which already, like, that's some cool points right there. Was the Primarch of the First Legion of Space Marines, the Dark Angels. Well, okay. Dark Angels doesn't sound super good, but you know what, we'll run with it. Frenchman and his crusading fleet returned to his homeworld of Caliban. Inexplicably, they were fired upon by the Dark Angel forces garrisoned there, under the command of the once trusted mentor and surrogate father, okay, you know what? I think it's a name. Don't trust anyone with that name. Because, like, if you're into Catholic lore, Luther eventually betrayed the Lion after allowing himself to be seduced. Oh, dear. So apparently this dude, way too into Eldars. The titanic struggle between the two former friends results in the destruction of Caliban and the loss of the Dark Angel's Primarch. Oh, dear. So far, this is far more tragic than whatever the previous dude was. This dude was like, I think they were like, can we have a Primarch that's just evil? It's like the ProZD sketch of like the guy who's like, how could you possibly have predicted this guy was gonna betray you?
Hey, it's nice to meet you.
This world is imperfect.
What?
If only I could wipe away the impurities.
Is anybody else listening to
And
this?
make it as beautiful as me.
Lysandaroth, you were behind all this?
Yes, it was I. My machinations lay undetected for years.
It's probably, if you're interested in 40K lore and you don't know anything about this, that's your hint to leave now. Perhaps one of the greatest secrets of the Imperium Man, not only to the Emperor himself, was that the Lion was still alive and resting in stasis. Man, that would have been hyped to find out after like the end of a book, not on the next paragraph of a Wikipedia article. I feel like the fandom kind of spoils a couple things. I mean, not to say that it's not its job, like it's doing its job, to be awakened to lead the Dark Angels in one final crusade to save mankind from all enemies who threaten it with extinction. Is that, okay, it's past tense. The day came at last! Lillian now roams the galaxy once more. While his brother, Primarch Roberto Forte, lies in matters of command and administration, task he accomplished that. Blom, what the frick does this mean? Blom refers to self-confident assurance, poise, or imperturbable self-possession. True nature of this. Wait, okay, so it doesn't say he dies again. So is this dude alive? Okay, one good man still alive. The Lion, not the White Lion, like the inferior Lion. So it sounds like what this dude did is he woke up, he slayed chaos. That sounds very fair. I think we put Frenchman and did nothing wrong. I thought that spot was gonna go solely to Horus as a joke, but actually, unironically, there's one actually chill dude, so far at least. The next guy worries me, because that guy looks evil. But Primarch number 3. I don't think this is actually like the 20th or the last Primarch as the titles are given to these two. Looks evil already. Haven't even started reading, but looks evil. Primarch of the Alpha Legion shrouded himself in mystery, often moving unseen, even amongst the ranks of his own legion. Do you think he plays Rogue in D&D? Like, do you think that he's the guy that's like, every single time the party like goes to a tavern or something like that, he's like, I brood in the corner, waiting to see if anyone pays attention to me. Rolls dice. I rolled a 47 on stealth. Alpharius bestrode the battle. What's this word? Hang on, are they copying this from books? Dan a stride over, span or straddle. How does the definition give more fusion as to what the word means? Okay, now I have to, this is crazy. I have to search the definition of a definition. Hang on. With a leg on either side of, okay, a stride. So bestride is the action of a striding. Whoever's writing this, are they copying it from books, or is some dude out there just like really, because there's so much lore here, so it's either one guy who's super passionate about 40k writing all of this, and also has really good like vocabulary, or a lot of the community has very good vocabulary, or this is just being copy and pasted from books. Either way, this is, I like every single Primarch has like, they gotta have like a thing. Like you got Horus who's like, battlefield stretch, sieges greaves. And then you have like Magnus who's like, scholar, the scholarist, the nerdiest of the scholars. And then you have this dude who's like, the most broody of them all. Okay, so basically, alright, this has been going on for a really long time. These two dudes are like really, they have a lot of different origins, some of which are like good, they're not too bad, some of which are like, okay, bro murdered a lot of different people for simply being in the same star system, which, although its history is an active legion and a short one compared to the others, glad to know this is the short one. After Alpharius' disagreements with Roboute over the supposed dishonorable ways of his legion's chosen methods of warfare, what's dishonorable about it? How is it dishonorable? Get over yourself! Is Roboute, hang on, is Roboute the one I think he is? Is Roboute the freaking nerd? Hold on. It is! It's the nerd! It's the nerd! Oh my gosh. Okay, alright. Hang on. The Grey Knight's gloves are coming on. Hold on. Ever since the Terminus Decree came out and everyone was like, bro, the Grey Knights, they aren't getting through Roboute. This guy seems like such a nerd. Magnus, all Magnus does is study books. All he does is read books. All he cares about is like science and math. He's such a nerd, and this guy's more of a nerd. Roboute is more of a nerd than Magnus, the guy who only reads books, the guy who literally became a demon because he liked reading so much. Anyways, simpler strategy. Alpharius has reported to reply that they avoided it as it would have been too easy. Fuck off. Fuck off. Alright, hang on, we'll put him back for a second, hang on. It is believed that the Blah commits Alpharius, the only way to permanently defeat chaos in the galaxy was to ensure that Horus was victorious in his rebellion against the Emperor. The vision continued with Horus after slaying his father, shocked into insanity by his conscience, and disgusted with himself and loathing what he had done. Horus would seek to exterminate the chaos-corrupted human race. In a vast... Why did you use that word? What was the purpose of using this word? Why would you... What? Okay, whatever. Is this copied from a book, or did you choose to use that word? Listen, I know you referenced Eldars 30 seconds ago. Okay, I know you referenced Eldars very recently, alright? You're talking about genocide. You don't need to use that word. Okay, I'm not gonna go through reading all this, because this is a lot. Like, this is quite a bit. And keep in mind, this is the short. There's a lot here. Basically, what sounds like happened is these two dudes were like, they were fighting baddies, and then Horus came along and was like, hey, Imperium bad. And these two dudes were like, you're not wrong. Eldar came over these two dudes and were like, hey, by the way, if you guys want to destroy chaos for good, you need to ally with Horus. And then they were like, well, not the best. Not the best, but I mean, that guy was okay. I mean, did give us power armor, so I made this one called Simply Misguided, but that actually sounds like that fits those two pretty darn well. Next group, this dude. I'm gonna try to be quicker on this because it's a lot of stuff. The Liberator, oh dear gosh. This guy about to have, what's that word from earlier? Unbotable or whatever the word, liberate them. Oh, so this guy's actually really cool. So this guy was like, woke up, a bunch of people that were like, taken away by the government for like disagreeing with the government and stuff like that. This guy was like, you know what? No, we're gonna liberate this planet. I'm assuming the planet was liberated at some point. Planet was liberated. All right, cool. It sounds like he just built up. It sounds like he took the 19th Legion and made them better. That sounds like what he did. All right, good action. Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff. After the Horus Heresy, Corax remained unable to forget the growling, monstrous aberrations of humanity that he personally created. Yeah, okay. So somewhere it said that Horus or Alpharius or someone corrupted the Raven Guard genes so that the Raven Guard basically turned into monsters. This dude took that personally. This dude was like, that's my fault. I should have protected them better, which is honorable as frick. He resolved to enter this place, which I'm pretty sure is like the solar system of like the big baddies, in pursuit of the traitor legions following the siege of Terra, hunt down the traitors, brother Primarchs. He was like, bro, this guy is really cool and seems very honorable. Don't ruin it. Told him that it was a shadow that rose up and tore the heretic Astartes to shreds. When the shadow finally came for, well, whatever the frick this is, took the survivors and withdrew to the sanctum. Desperate for some dude's aid, the Lorgar that emerged was immensely different from the man Corax had bested on the killing fields of blah blah. But as before, the Raven gained the upper hand, summoning a nimbus of power at the tower. Lorgar plunged into a hidden chamber and slammed the obsidian doors behind him. Oh, that's the end of this page. I feel like that's fair. This dude fought chaos. This dude liberated a planet, personally tried to go kill the Chaos Demons. Alright, next dude. Ferrus, a master swift no. This dude doesn't sound that great, actually. This dude actually doesn't sound all that good. This dude sounds pretty bad. Sounds like first thing this dude's done so far in the lore that I've read, already not particularly good. Found someone that was like, you need to be liberated, and they're like, well, we don't. And then he's like, well, then death. Hey, wait a minute. This is a Warhammer fantasy thing. What's the Phoenix Guard doing in 40K? The blade sliced through his genetically enhanced flesh and bone of one of the. Oh, the enhanced Primarch fell to the ground. His head decapitated. Ferrus was dead. Okay, Ferrus does not seem like a particularly good person, to be clear here. But that is a sad story. I'll probably put him in did a couple bad things in life because his bad thing was that he kind of like killed people during the Great Crusade. He probably didn't necessarily, like, he wasn't particularly, like, good. At least it's specified. It's probably the case for most of the Primarchs, but he had a couple bad things, but he still fought against Chaos during the Horus Heresy, so you know what? I know. Alright, Fulgrim, the brother. So we should know most of this dude's lore already. This dude's evil. I don't even know why I need to do any of this. So basically it sounds like this planet that was Chaos was wiped out by Fulgrim. Oh, but Fulgrim did not know that. Okay, so I was about to say, well, actually, Fulgrim had a good part. Fought Chaos. He just exterminated Chaos from the planet, and then the fandom specifies, don't worry, Fulgrim didn't know there was Chaos. Fulgrim just thought he was wiping out a planet. Given the fact that, okay, so we're not gonna put him in. We're definitely not gonna put him in the demon category. I don't think. This guy actually sounds more like a tragedy than the other ones. He was kind of just following orders of exterminating that planet, and then he was corrupted by Chaos because of it. So we're gonna put him in fairly evil. Fulgrim fans are gonna be rioting right now. They're punching air. They're screaming, going in the comment section. How could you think that he was fairly evil? It's so tragic, the backstory. All right, next guy. Oh, we got to the It's the nerd. It's nerd time. It's Roboute! We're gonna very quickly try to go. The 13th Legion of Space Marines, sometimes called the Warborn, was assigned to the command of Guilliman in short order. The Primarch needed little urging or aid in the simulation of knowledge of the wider galaxy, the Great Crusade, and many technological wonders of the newborn Imperium man. His development, blah blah. Whenever Guilliman and the Ultramarines made a new world compliant, his forces spent as much effort in establishing it afresh. Okay, I'm not reading all this because it's a lot. So it sounds like Roboute technically, alright, I mean, he fought Chaos, but it doesn't sound like he's necessarily, like, anti-Chaos. But he didn't really do anything evil, so I can't really put him in even mostly not evil. He's mostly just, like, he's just, like, a default good Primarch. Like, I was talking earlier about, like, every Primarch has, like, the thing. He doesn't really have a thing. He's just a Primarch. But I don't know, maybe that's chill. Next dude, the Warhawk. That's a crazy title. What's his? We're gonna call him Jaghatai. We're gonna call him the Jag. Jag has not been seen since, although his unit will one day return to the chapter in a time of great need. Dude, there are so many Primarchs who are like they disappear, and then so many of like the Astartes are like type of need. What is Warhammer setting up for? Because you have like the Great Crusade period, you have Horus Heresy, you have like what they're currently developing. Is there going to be like a next era where it's like the 40k grimdark world finally becomes ungrimdark, and like all of the Primarchs return and are like against chaos? I really respect the aesthetic that Games Workshop was going for this guy. This guy's pretty chill. When the White Scars granted no mercy to the foe, they did so not for the joy of simple slaughter, but in honor of the valor shown them. They held back nothing, just as it had a worthy foe. Like, after that first line came out, I was ready to do this. I was like, I don't know, like, that's really base. But then the second line kind of made it, The Scourge Legion had already been engaged with several Senate blah on the order of the War Master Horus and a surprisingly punishing campaign against the Orcs, blah blah blah. It was at Tronex that they first received the news of the Space Legion's actions during the burning of Prospero. These reports said Russ had turned rebel and driven by his hatred for Magnus. His legion had utterly decimated the Thousand Sons Legion, and the Primarch Magnus had died at the Wolf King's own hands. What? Battered and outnumbered Space Wolves. The Alpha Legion and its twin Primarchs Alpharius had long harbored deep grudges against the Space Wolves, and Russ in particular for his criticism of their reliance upon trickery, manipulation, and subterfuge to win battles, rather than engaging what Space Wolves Primarchs saw as honorable open combat. Listen, Russ is pretty chill. I'm kind of backing up on this statement about, like, but that's how battles could be fought. Because that guy does sound pretty, those guys do sound pretty cringe now. Although Jag sympathized with the Space Wolves' predicament, he refused to get involved until he was able to sort out the conflicting and often contradictory messages he'd received. Until he knew beyond a shadow of doubt who was an ally and who was an enemy, who had truly betrayed the Imperium and who was still loyal. He refused to choose sides, wishing his brother the best of luck. literally, Jag patting Russ in the back and being like, good luck out there, mate. Oh, this guy, alright. I'm not saying this guy's bad, but that's so crazy. Received official message directly from Dorn. The White Scars were commanded to make the swiftest possible passage to the Warbrick, where further instructions and further explanations would be given. The meaning was clear, its origin and unambiguous. But Jag was not moved by these demands. Jag felt old stirrings of resentment again. They were the what? Okay, Google another word now. This isn't a word. This is just a, alright. I don't know what that is. I just came up with a city. Wait, okay, I'm not gonna read all this because this sounds really freaking cool. Hang on, we're creating a new one. We're creating a new tier for this. Hang on. I wasn't expecting to create a tier or mid-like tier list, but holy crap. I'm gonna call this, genuinely good actions. Genuinely good actions. Holy crap. Alright, Jag goes in there. Because Jag was like, Jag fought bad people. The Horus Heresy came up. He was like, I'm not going to do blue on blue. I want to know what's going on before I fight anyone. The pat on the back to Russ was really freaking funny. But honestly, strategically, that was a really good move. And then whenever it became clear what it was, Jag didn't take shit. He went in. He was like, fuck you. He was like, fuck you, Alpharius. Okay. I'm not even gonna read the rest of Jag's lore, because that's really based. This dude who looks, I mean, this guy, the title, bro gave himself the title, the Night Haunter. This guy sounds really freaking evil. Prophecies of the future and the generated level of anguish and despair that set him apart from his fellow Primarchs. So this is where his, like, tragedy comes from. He was psychically badly damaged by the difficulties of his early life. Bro never recovered the mental balance and sought only oblivion from the pain of existence. Wow. Yeah, so it's very easy to see this guy becoming a traitor Primarch. We're going to be fairly quick on this because it's really just a question of how evil, that's the tier list, but it's really just a question of, like, which one of these four. Whatever the frick these things are, would descend upon some portion of a target rolled in overwhelming force and visit utter butchery upon those they found there. Then they offered peace thirst the world if it surrendered, while letting it be known those who resisted would meet the same fate as those who had already been brutally slaughtered. Alright, pretty simple. We'll do a very quick scan of the Horus Heresy to see if there's any redeeming qualities. But we have someone filling out that slot now, so that's interesting. There's so much freaking stuff here, dude. Alright, I didn't even see a Horus Heresy. We're just gonna keep them there. This dude, I don't even know if we need to read it, because this was already, a lot of the lore was already explained through, the Raven dudes thing. This guy sounds really evil. Did he actually, okay, the only question is, how did that get changed? What the fuck? Alright, the only question is, do we put bro in red, or whatever this color this is? And the Legion, that's a crazy title to give to your Legion, dude. We're gonna be very brief on this. So it sounds like dude got tricked by Chaos Demons, and they're trying to do good action to, I don't know. What was this dude's intentions? Dude was, like, very obsessed with, like, holy things, which I respect, you know, relatable. Until he was like, oh, yes, well, how about the chaos can spread? I'm gonna put this guy in, like, simply misguided, because technically speaking, it's not like Garon, what the frick his name was, did anything, like, particularly, like, it wasn't necessarily, like, innately evil. Like, the intentions to do everything wasn't necessarily innately evil. It was just really, like, I don't even know what goes through your brain. Like, I ask this question so much when I'm playing with teammates in Dota. I'm like, what goes through your brain whenever you make that decision? What goes through your brain whenever you see, like, Magnus, like, whenever you get this idea of, like, Magnus, like, bringing an entire planet of people closer to the Chaos Demons, and you're like, you know what? Actually, that might not be a bad thing. Like, why do you even think that? But again, the intentions weren't bad, so to say. It was just absurd. It's like the guy it's like a teammate in Dota being like, well, you know, I was just trying to end the game. And you're like, I get you were trying to end the game, but like, the entire enemy team was hitting our Ancient, and they still had tier 3. You were not going to beat them in the throne race. You needed a TP back to our base to help us defend the Ancient, then we could go try to end. If we survived. But, like, the intention is not necessarily intrinsically bad, but you're so baffling dumb. You do the wrong thing, and, like, you intentionally do the wrong thing, but you're not intending to do the wrong thing. You're just so stupid. And, whatever. If you're, like, a Goran fan or what the frick his name is, and you're like, oh, the slander. I understand some of the, like, and I don't freaking know. Whatever. Go, Maul. Alright, this guy, there's not that much that I need to think about for this guy. First off, literally a fucking demon. Listen, I know people simp for this motherfucker so hard. They're like, he just wanted knowledge. Dude, hubris is a term for a reason, dude. We can't just put him in literally just a freaking demon. What are you even freaking on about? Next dude, who is this guy? Well, I mean, this dude looks pretty evil already. Alright, Bro's Legion is called the Death. Alright, whatever the frick ever, dude. We're gonna call this dude Arian. Arian's foster brother died. Arian was really angry, and then Horus was like, hey man, what about Chaos? And Arian was like, alright, if this gets revenge. He was manipulated. I'm gonna put him in did a couple bad things in life. Actually, you know, we'll put him in mostly not evil, just because I want to fill up that spot, and B, it was mostly manipulation that caused this dude to be evil. Alright, this dude next. The Breaker. Okay, alright, this one's really easy. This dude, a demon. Okay, so that makes it really easy. I'm just gonna put that guy up there for right now. Alright, boys. Dorn time. So this dude stayed loyal to the Imperium, ultra good defender, also appears in Hunter the Parroting his Door. So we're not gonna go through all of it. Dorn was like a fairly, so we're just gonna rank him. Dorn, just chill dude, really good defender, pretty smart general, like strategist. We're just gonna put him and did nothing wrong. I don't think he goes in genuinely good actions. I don't think he did anything that was like, whoa. But like, next dude. Saying, in many ways, often considered the noblest and most respected of the Primarchs. It sounds like Saying was very anti-chaos, which is quite good. The only reason I'm not putting him in genuinely good actions is because I made that tier specifically for Jag and Russ. Sag fought chaos. Very, very honorable. Alright, next one. Oh, I'm reading the early lore. Let me read this bit up here. Wait, is Vulkan is Vulkan the Salamanders dude? Oh, okay, hang on. Because Salamanders, they were anti-chaos. They did not betray the Imperium, which I mean, again, is not initially good. And this dude created like a freaking treasure hunt. Also, I want to move on to the last two because I've been recording for a long time. All right. Okay, I need to clarify something before I say this. I'm scrolling very quickly. This is Horus's page. I'm not going through this whole thing. I'm going to read the suburb, like the thing at the very top. I know some lore about this, but I could probably make the statement just without having to read this page at all. Okay, so Great Crusade, Horus was violent. Alright, sounds about right. Oh, so Magnus did a no thing. Magnus did a no. And try to read Horus's mind to see the betrayal, and then sent that to Big Bad Evil Guy, and Big Bad Evil Guy was like, no, no. Magnus, the evil one. Magnus did a no. And then so then Big Bad Evil Guy was like, hey Russ, can you go freaking kill Magnus? And Russ was like, on it, boss. And that's how those two fought. Okay, so it sounds like Horus like allied pretty heavily with Chaos. So listen. I've been calling we'll use Hunter the Parroting terms. I've been calling Big D the Big Bad Evil Guy this entire time. At the era that Horus betrayed the Imperium, there was definitely the question of, was the Imperium all that bad? And I think that generally was up to each individual Primarch, because there were some Primarchs that treated things well. Like you have the Raven dude, who like I assume they liberated planets during the Great Crusade. I assume they were like pretty good, because it seems like the Raven was pretty good to his unit and to his men. He wanted his men to be very good to the planets. Actually, I think that was specified. Yeah. So like, it was very much up to like each individual Primarch with how they treated the planets that they were dealing with during the Great Crusade. And it could definitely be argued that the actions of Horus, actually it's stated multiple times that the action wasn't it, that the actions of Horus was the cause for, but that doesn't even matter, because bro sided with Chaos to do this. So it really is 40k personified in the way of being like, the Big Bad Evil Guy was betrayed by a guy, and that sounds great until you realize that that guy who betrayed him was doing so for worse reasons. And the guy who was privy to it, who could have stopped it, tried to be like, I don't know, put in jail by the Big Bad Evil Guy. So unfortunately, I do have to put Horus into very evil. Not technically a demon. I don't think Horus ever said Horus became a demon. I think Horus died before then, right? But I think technically Horus is very evil. As much as it's funny to put Horus into did nothing wrong, the whole siding with Chaos and stuff like that, unfortunately, if it was not for that, if the reason for the Horus heresy was purely that Horus was worried about like the actions of everyone, but no, Horus was kind of way too mean. Conquered planets and all that stuff. Like that's not a good general. Like that's not someone who's like doing good for the galaxy, unfortunately. So even though he fought against Big Bad Evil Guy, and it would be really funny to put him in did nothing wrong because of that, unfortunately he was doing it for Chaos, so he is very evil. Because in 40k, it's grim dark. There's not supposed to be virtually any good. But with that, we move on to the last Primarch, Russ. Anyways, Magnus bros, Magnussens, if you want to fight me on that, go fight someone else. I don't care enough. This was fairly interesting. I knew barely anything about Primarchs going into this. I think I googled a little bit about Dorn's lore, because Hunter the Parroting, and I was like, Dorn's funny. Jag, like, it's so funny to me, the thought process of Jag, like, standing side by side with Russ, and Russ being like, we're being attacked by Alpharius, Horus betrayed us, come on, Jag, send your scars after them. And Jag just, like, pats him on the back, good luck, buddy, and just walks out. This video is really stupid. I don't know if I want to make 40k videos. I know this video might be really long. I know I talked a lot about 40k. I don't like 40k all that much. But yeah, anyways, thank you for watching. I don't want to make 40k videos, but I thought this would be funny, because I didn't know anything about 40k. I'm like, you know what? It might be interesting to rank this. But anyways, thank you for watching. Remember to play Paladins.